It's recording. Yeah.
I put you in those. Good. You know. Yeah, you're here. This is you.
Good evening, everyone. Yes, thank you. My pen. I got one. I have one. I can't hear you. Yes, I did. All right, we feel very uncomfortable about starting right now. So I think I'm gonna feel a little bit more comfortable if we start in a couple of minutes. Okay. Okay. Just- Okay. Is there anyone from here yet from the family of Miss Fields? Yet? Is anyone here yet? Okay, thank you. Is anyone from the bylaws committee? You're from the tomorrow. Come here. I don't know what this is. That's what I'm asking. Do you know what this is? These. No, I'm saying, okay, maybe you do know though. I don't know if you know this. I'm asking, what is that? Yeah.
Before it comes
I have this.
meeting.
Oh, this is mine? Oh. Again, I'm waiting a couple of minutes. Yeah. You know? Yeah, I needed a text. Again, is there any member from the family of Pearline Fields in the audience? Okay, seeing none, I'm just going to take a couple of minutes. All right. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. All right. Wow. Secretary Thomas, what is the number we need for quorum? According to, pardon me? 40? So we need 21. Okay, all right. Just by show of hands, how many board members we have? Just by show of hands, real fast. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. June is 8, and 3, 11. So we need 10 more. Why do you look for? What's your name, sir? From? Huh? Okay, you look familiar. That's why I'm just wondering. All right. So, good evening, everyone. For those of you who do not know my name, I am Roderick Rudy Daly. In the domino world, kumbaya. I have to say that. I love dominoes. And I'm the chair of Community Board 17. I'm real, and the time is now 7:18, and at 7:18, I call the meeting to order. All right, so the chairperson's report. There's several items on the list. The first one is, to acknowledge the loss of one of our board members and our executive members, which we'll come back to in a little bit in Pearline Field. So we'll come back and then we'll address it in a little bit, but we lost one of the housing chair, Housing and Block Association chair, earlier this month. And we will address that in a few, but I want to make sure that I point that out first before we get started in the meeting. So unfortunately, I'm starting off in a somber moment. The second item is the hot button topic of the day that all of us, I believe, should get involved with, and that's this hospital. There are a number of, I could see some faces of members who actually came to the meeting on Monday to talk about in January, I discussed the partial closing of part of Downstate Hospital and what that would look like. So just to explain, they plan to close a wing because of monetary component, 2, that is dilapidated and they need fixing. And 3, although I said monetary component, the cost that would require to rebuild it. The governor's office is given X dollars. That X dollars cannot even touch the surface of what needs to happen in terms of the board. I mean, the downstate. Right now, you're looking at giving $300 million. Now, to put it in a nutshell, downstate has been neglected for 30 years. So over those 30 years, the building and the administration and the finances all have gone haywire. Now, they plan to close 400 beds, move those beds over to Kings County, where Kings County is already saturated Now it's going to become super saturated. And we already know that the services there are not all great. Kingsbrook, the ED, they have closed, and a lot of services at Kingsbrook have closed. No, Kingsbrook, right? And so with you closing off a wing of downstate, closing off a wing of Kingsbrook, and pushing the services over to Kings County in what is, we all know that a lot of us don't want to go to Kings County because we're afraid of, I'm going to the ED for an illness and I'm there till tomorrow, right? Not to be seen. There's a different amount of things that they want to do. One thing is to build buildings, affordable housing. And of course, my question always is, affordable for whom? Right? Very important question. The second thing is they're also looking at creating a bunch of buildings in the same area with no health services. When we met on Monday, it was a unanimous feeling that they should change their perspective on downstate and find funding for downstate. Okay? There'll be a meeting tomorrow, Friday, not tomorrow, Friday. Today's Wednesday. On Friday, Sharif, do we have the details from UUP? But you have it? So on Friday at PS 235, from 5 to 7, and we as a community should go, right? When you look at the community, our community is made up of, thank you, primarily first and second generation immigrants, right? Whether you're an immigrant or your mother, father, or your grandparents were immigrants, that's primarily who's in this community. That means that you're killing the services to immigrant population, which is not just, when I say immigrant, you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say the wrong thing and make it not what I want to say. But you're really looking at a community that's already underserved and you're creating more justification to continue underserved. So on Friday at Janice Knight School, which is right down the block. So if you're on Lenox, it's East 39th, and East 40th and Lenox. In the auditorium, there'll be a meeting. Please attend. Downstate is the only teaching hospital in Brooklyn. All right, and so we'll be losing that. Third, NOAA personnel will be talking about that, about the new hire. So our personnel chair will be doing that and what that looked like. We had a meeting and we discussed it. Fourth, this is Women's History Month, and we want to make sure that we recognize some of the great women in our community and great women who have made America what it is. And one of those women, very quickly, Shirley Chisholm. For those of you who don't know who she is, Shirley Chisholm was the first female, right, Black female in 1972 to run for president of the United States. Credible run. And we want to make sure that I put that up there as well. That's a credible run for president of the United States. I'm so pleased that Congresswoman Yvette Clarke is the person who now sits in that seat. Another Black female is now the person who's in that seat and is also within this district in where this auditorium lies, in this hospital lies. Five, we are the election committee. We changed the bylaws to have 2-year terms, and it is the chair who has to create an election committee.
So the chair of the election committee is Gail Grandison, right? Gail, raise your hand. Just turn around so people know who you are. Right? The committee members are Rose Graham, Mr. Hill. Where's Michael Hill? I did see him right there. Kwame Afray. And for some reason, I'm always forgetting, or Berlat Antoine is the fifth person on the election committee. Please note that any board member who wants to run for an office, you will hear from the election committee that you will send in your application to run for the 5 executive positions. Those 5 executive positions are secretary, treasurer, second vice, first vice, and chair. You will submit, you go through an election process, and then in June, you will be, there will be an election that you'll be given a ballot by the district, by the election chair, committee chair, and will be given further instructions on what to do. So again, think about whether or not you want to run for any of the 5 positions. You can look them up in the bylaws to see what their roles and responsibilities are. All right, you could also look up part of that role and responsibility in the New York City Charter, so you'll see that. Lastly, I spoke to the bar president directly, and one of the things that we discussed is quorum, a major component of quorum. A number of members will be removed. Some already have been removed from the board because you need to physically come to the meeting. If you don't come and you have attendance of less than 70%, right? And I guess at this point it would be about 50%, you will receive a letter from the first vice chair, right? To that the possibility of your removal. Some of you will get that call directly from the BP office. The board will look tremendously different come May. In that conversation, and so for everyone who does not know my email, I would like for you to write it down, cb17chairperson@gmail.com, right? And thank you for the correction. Also use rodaily@cb.nyc.gov. The bar president, our community, we're asking for what are some things that ideally that we can work on to help the community become better. Please send that item in. If you're on a committee, please send it, give it to the committee chair, right? If you want to know what the committees are, they're right on the agenda for those of you who are not part of a committee. Huh? Oh, it's on the agenda if you don't know who they are, okay? The second, yes, all right? So that's that. Also, please make sure to send in, if you want to do the block parties, please make sure that gets done now. I think there's a deadline coming up for anyone who's interested in doing the block party. With that being said, I want to take the point of personal privilege to thank everyone who had me up in their prayers and who reached out during all of last month while I was away for treatment. Thank you for that good word, for treatment. All right. Unfortunately, we'll be going back in next weekend. I don't know for how long, I think it's for a week, to do a second part. So I want to thank God because the doctors told me that 70% of the leukemia in the first cycle was destroyed. So I thank God for that. And I will continue to thank God, hoping that I will go into remission after the treatment that's coming up next weekend. And again, I appreciate and I love phone calls. When you sit in the hospital for 38 days, you get bored. So just text, call, visit. I don't care. I don't care what they say. They said, Mr. Huh? Right? Downstairs, they said, are you coming to see Mr. Daly again? All right. So that was good. So they knew my name downstairs, although I didn't know who they were. So I appreciate that. And I also want to thank PD for they looking out for me as well. Thank you, Inspector, for the services that you provided to look out for your little homeboy sitting down there who wasn't doing too well. So thank you so much. All right. With that being said, I would like to call up our district manager, Sharif Frazier. Please clap her. Really.
Good evening, good evening. And yes, Mr. Daly, we really miss you, not having you at the meeting last month. So this month we'll check to see how late the meeting ends. Oh, we always miss him when he is away. You said 28 days in the hospital? That was
38.
Really.
38. Don't promise 10
38.
days.
He was in the hospital for 38 days. That was really a long time. And believe you me, we tried our best to keep his company, keep his spirit high, and we're happy that he's back with us today. So good evening again, and thank you all for attending tonight's meeting to share some good news. We are expecting some assistance in the office, and the personnel chair will share that information with you. Presently, we are very busy planning our summer activities. Remember to visit the board's website at nyc.gov/Brooklyn CB17. I concur with the chair of the board. I did attend some of those meetings regarding closing the wing of this hospital. The board stands in support of the hospital, our community residents, organizations, and elected officials in advocating for funding to keep this hospital open. We are all concerned how the closing will negatively impact residents' access to healthcare services in this community. So let us continue to fight. Let us continue to go out whenever there's a meeting and show our support. Our office continue to process applications and complaints. Next week, I do plan on revisiting a walkthrough, Inspector, a walkthrough we conducted with the 4-in-1 Block Association to ensure those trailers are gone. We have to be careful and remain vigilant in this community. Too many trailers are popping up in certain areas around our community. So be vigilant, keep your eyes open. When you see it, give us a call. Another community concern, one of which I received several complaints in the office. Our seniors are being targeted. Seriously. They're being targeted for their homes. I want to encourage families to stay in touch with your senior relatives when they're living alone. Not only are they targeted, some of them are being harassed. Okay, I had to refer relatives to the Department for the Aging for assistance. Let us stay in touch with our seniors. They're signing papers. They don't know what they're doing, and sometimes it is too late to reverse that transaction that has already happened. Of course, we refer them to the appropriate agency that can assist, but relatives, please stay in touch with your senior relatives when they're living alone. And Mr. Daly spoke about it. I would like to also express my condolences to the family of Ms. Pearline Fields. the chairperson of Community Board 17's Housing and Block Association Committee, one of our many active committees on the board. I missed her not being at the meeting last month, and after several attempts to contact Ms. Fields, I received a call in the office stating she had passed. Ms. Fields' death was sudden, and it shocked us all. I was responsible for providing coverage to her committee, to the committee she chaired, and I admired her poise, her leadership strength, and her passion for the community. We are all heartbroken, and our loss is deeply, deeply felt. We pray that her soul rest in peace. At this time, that ends my report. If you have any questions, I'll be more than happy to take them.
Any questions for myself or the district manager? I'm sorry, because I didn't ask that either. Are there any questions? Come on to this mic, state your name. She's first and then you're second. State your name and, oh, can you just, Mr. Hill, can you just, Chair Hill, can you turn the mic on? It's on? No, it's not. There you go.
Good afternoon. My name is Jason Stewart here on the meeting for Downstate on Friday. I can't attend that meeting because we having a rally on Friday at 3 o'clock in Manhattan, marching from Union Square past Beth Israel down to the governor office, and it's about the closing of Downstate and Beth Israel Hospital. And also, we also going to talk about the Medicaid funding, which I just came back from Albany, meeting with Assembly folks. They're talking about the cuts, also about Medicaid. So we're able to attend that meeting on Friday.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that information.
Thank
Is
you,
there,
Chair.
do you have any flyers or any information that you could share with the board? I could meet you in the back and get your email contact information. Okay, thank you.
Go ahead, state your name.
Good evening, Simone Sylvester, board member. I just have a question for Ms. Frazier about targeting seniors. Is there anything else the community CB 17 can do to assist in like sending out flyers, walking around? Is there anything else that you can?
A matter of fact, with the assistance, the help coming into the office, we did talk about a newsletter.
Okay.
Getting a newsletter started. Once that happens, that's all information that will be included as we saturate this community with more information and make ourselves more visible, because not too many seniors are tech savvy. So we want to find ways to meet them where they are. So yes, we do have plans to get a newsletter started.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? Seeing none? Thank you very
Yes,
much.
I
Thank
have
you.
a
Oh,
question.
we're online? Go ahead.
Yes, online. Okay, good evening. My name is Adrian Lyons, and my question is about the
To
overdevelopment in
whom is the
community.
question? Is it to the district manager or to the chair?
I'm not sure. I'm not
Okay.
sure. I'm just addressing an issue. I have a question about an issue about overdevelopment in District 17, because a lot of these seniors, they have semi-attached or fully attached houses, and developers are coming, they're putting up these big 3 to 8 story homes, and what they are doing is they are forcing the seniors to accept that they are building above their building. They are also forcing them to accept that the buildings will be attached if they had a semi-attached. They're coming up with their own survey. And not only that, they're saying to the seniors that their survey proves that the lot that they bought is actually inside of the senior residences lots. So I would like to find out how we could address this, because a lot of people are being blocked into a square. where they have development on both sides of them and in the back of them, and they're being harassed, or garbage is being left on in a position that will create rats, because you go from a two-family house to a 8-story building, and it's becoming a big problem in community board 17. So how can we address this problem?
Mr. Davis,
There are, huh?
housing.
When we look at a lot of these buildings unfortunately have as of right to go up, and it's very unfortunate. However, if some of these if you know an address of any building that is going up, that is illegally done or is going up, we can always check it out and address to see if that's done. You could contact our land use chair, Kwame Afray. Kwame, do you want to get up and give your email address? Or you could go through the board as well, but you could get up and give your email address or put it online.
We also have the rezoning chair who
And the
has a
rezoning chair,
ton of information.
Right, so let's start with going through the district manager at S. Fraser, that's SFRASER, at cb.nyc.gov. And mine is RO Daily at cb.nyc.gov. So start with that information so we can always check out whether or not they're doing things illegally. Are there any other questions online? Thank you, Ms. Lyons, for that question.
You're welcome.
Are there any other questions online? Okay, seeing none, let's move on very quickly to the committee reports. I'm sorry, before I do that, is there any family member here from Pearline Fields? Thank you. So at this time, please, I would like a point of privilege to ask to pause the order of business to recognize our former chair of Housing and Block Association. And for me to do that, I would need a 2/3 vote from the board members. Can I get a second? With that being said, by show of hands, can I get, first, oh, I don't even know if we have quorum. Can you raise your hand? I'm going to tell you, just quick count. 1, 2, 3, 4. Board members, all board members, please raise your hand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. We got quorum. Perfect. All in favor of the special order of business to recognize our former chair of Housing and Block Association, please do so by raising your hand. If board members only. All opposed? Any abstentions? With that being said, I would like to ask the district manager, the executive officers to please step forward to the front. And I also want all the executive, I'm actually choking up, and I don't normally do that. All of the executive committee members that served on the committee, the chairs, please step forward. I'm actually choking up. Could you come forward? You're Miss Allen, right? Please step forward, Miss Allen. It's okay, we'll stay down. Is there anyone in the audience that can take a picture for us, please? Huh? Yes, I'd like to do that. So, I understand.
You're on.
I should stand.
Ms. Allen? Please step forward. Whereas Community Board 17 recognize the work of Ms. Fields, who stepped up to the plate and recognized the importance of our community, recognized the work, the need for housing, Black Association. She was really willing to do whatever was necessary to help our community. We're deeply saddened by her loss, by the board's loss and the community's loss. With that being said, I would like everyone to please rise for a moment of silence to recognize Chair Pearline Fields. Thank you. So on behalf of the entire executive body, who she served with over the last few years, we would like to take a moment and recognize her posthumously for her work. New York City Community Board 17, Brooklyn, in remembrance of Pearline Sonia Fields. By word and deed, your presence has enriched the lives of community residents and served as an example for all. From the members and staff of Community Board 17, from the members and staff, and it should also say the community of Community Board 17, we would like to recognize Ms. Fields. Ms. Allen.
Thank you. Trying to get myself together. This was so sudden, and I was Pearl running partner. She had me always running here and running there. And she was always doing something for the community. And this is just of a shock to me as it is with you people. I'm still in shock. Pearl was a very compassionate person, hard worker. Oh, boy. And I miss her dearly. And I know she will really appreciate this, and her family appreciate this honor for her. Thank you.
Thank you. Just stand right here in the middle, just have it up for 1 second. Miss, just take a real quick picture right there. Just a quick picture right there for the website. Oh, right. Her funeral services, you can have a seat. Her funeral services will be Friday. You want to guide?
It's Friday. The viewing is from 3 to 6, and the service will follow. And it's at the Carib funerals, was it 1922 Utica Avenue between K and L? Yeah.
All right, so if everybody is very simply right on Utica Avenue, right across the street from the Walgreens. Again, Utica Avenue. Thank you so much. With that, we'll continue our order of business. Our committee reports. Budget, do you have a report? You yield your time, thank you. Commerce, do you have a report? Okay, she yields her report. Education and youth. She yields her time, thank you. Housing, Oops, sorry. It's on the list. I apologize. Land use. Land use yields this time. Parks and beautification. Public safety and transportation. Do you have a report?
Good evening, everyone. Just a quick announcement. Our event scheduled for March 23rd at Railroad Park is canceled. However, we have our April 3rd event at Nostrand Park with Councilwoman Farah Lewis, Partnership for Parks, that is going on April 3rd. So I hope that you can come and assist us in teaching the kids to love their parks and the environment. So that will be on April 3rd at 9:30 at the Nostrand Park and Playground. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And that flyer, please make sure you pick it up in the back as well. Public safety, transportation, followed by sanitation. If you have a report, please step forward.
All right, good night to all.
Committee.
Last month's meeting in particular, we had some guest speakers come to talk about an organization called Dollar Ride, which is looking to electrify the dollar van transportation on all of the specific routes, including Flatbush Avenue, Utica Avenue, Church Avenue, all these specific areas where the dollar vans are to electrify. That's a mandate that has been pushed by the state, by the city, and they actually received funding to start doing that. So anyone that knows, anyone that is in that business, the fleet business, in terms of the dollar vans and so forth, they have funding to actually help transition from the gas-fueled vehicles to the electric. So I think that's very important, and there's opportunities coming out of that in terms of the new green workforce that was spoken about by the mayor last month and has currently gone through. So to give people an understanding, because I'm the transportation chair, there's over $7.5 billion federally that is in the infrastructure bill. And New York City, within the past 2 weeks or so, has received over 200 million from that so far. So the money is here. So a lot of the folks that are transitioning that need to get into a new opportunity, where there's investment, et cetera, look at the green space. The money is there. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sanitation. Social services, do you have a report? I did see the chair.
Good evening, everyone. It's Michael Hill for the Sanitation and Environmental Committee. My report is that basically the community is basically rotting away. It does not appear that sanitation is doing the job that they're supposed to be doing. It does not appear that they are fully embracing the responsibilities that they're supposed to take care of for the community. People in the community do not believe that our elected officials are doing what they're supposed to do in order to command these agencies to do their job. And the people in the community don't believe that the effectiveness of the board is as significant as it should be. They believe that there should be some changes. They believe that there should be people from sanitation here every board meeting to answer very specific questions as to why they are not performing the way that they're supposed to. They believe that maybe the elected officials that we have in office maybe shouldn't be there anymore because they are not doing their job to support us. And they're very sick and tired of it. It is foreseeable that within the next several meetings that we have, there's going to be more focus on sanitation through myself and other board members. We are trying to come up with ways to reach our elected officials where we can have some better discourse. Many emails and phone calls have been sent out and made, and most of the time, they're ignored. We believe that the police department can play a more active role in assisting with the removal of cars that have license plates that are removed and blocking the streets from being cleaned. And we definitely need some reform. We believe that perhaps sanitation should have supervisors that are actively out in the neighborhoods, making sure that all the commercial areas are performing their functions with their garbage the way they're supposed to. And it shouldn't necessarily be the responsibility of the people in the community to make sure that that's being handled. I don't know if that's even a function of the sanitation department right now, but it should be. And if it is, then it's not being done effectively. And maybe some of the people within the sanitation department shouldn't be there if they're not doing their job. Between now and the next meeting, I plan to have some more details to provide to hopefully shed some more light on this, and hopefully there'll be some changes. That's my report.
All right, go ahead.
Good evening, good evening.
State your name for the record.
The name is Westcott, lives on between post office and the community. Okay, in regards to the sanitation, I'm not sure if they're doing it up too well or they're not doing it. On Tuesday, my car was, we have all the inside park. My car was parked on one side. And as you know, in Brooklyn, parking is very difficult to find. So we tried to get the cars back prior to the, it's from 11:30 to 1 o'clock. We try to get our cars back at least 12:45, try to get our cars back on the right side. On Tuesday, it's a few of us put our car back 5 minutes to 1. And here comes the inspector ready to write a ticket. So we said to him, come on, it's 1 o'clock. We are trying to beg this guy not to give us a ticket, okay? What he stated, he said that you have 5 minutes before, not after. Before 11:30, you can keep your car there to 11:35. But any time before 1 o'clock, you can get a ticket. You know, so that's what I like to bring to the board. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I do.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I think when the sanitation come up as well, they can address that as well, DSNY. Do you have any other questions or comment? Not now. Yeah,
Can I go ahead?
yes, like
Gail Grandison, Education Chair.
a little louder.
Gail Grandison, Education Chair. I'm trying to understand what's the top priority? Is it commercial cleaning? Is it garbage pickup? Or is it street cleaning? Which is the biggest issue out of those three that you're having right now?
I would say all. I would say in all areas there needs to be significant improvement. There's definitely a lot of garbage in the commercial areas. There's a lot of garbage being dumped in residential areas.
That I'll agree with you.
There's a lot of issues in regards to being able to get the streets cleaned because of the cars and the lack of attention from sanitation, providing those summonses, creating a deterrence for people to do those things. It appears that in a lot of cases, they are doing just barely enough to say that they've left their garages and then they return. Maybe they pick up some of the garbage, maybe they don't. And there isn't any real accountability for that department, that agency. And that's what we're trying to address.
Did the community or anyone say it's specifically in which areas that the garbage is not being picked up?
Yes.
Besides the commercial, because we know the commercial areas are, of course, a obvious problem, and I see that a lot, but residential wise.
Yes, there are emails that have been sent to the Department of Sanitation and Community Affairs. I have spoken to someone directly. They have responded with some attention to certain things and then not so much with others. And this was verified with other people that I've spoken to on the committee itself that I've relayed the same information to. And they've come back and let me know that things aren't exactly as they're being described in the email that I receive. And that's where a lot of the frustration is coming from.
I just asked this because I'm just thinking about if there are like different areas in the community that not getting equitable treatment. I live on Clarendon. We have garbage pickup 3 times a week, and I have no complaints. I can't, and also the street cleaning. And there's always, especially on recycling days on Tuesdays, the supervisors, I do see them, you know, behind the garbage trucks, whether they're going up or down or what. So if we're not getting that kind of equitable treatment in the entire community, then there is an issue.
And that is definitely.
Thank you, Ms. Grandison. Go ahead.
The last response. That is definitely the issue, that the same attention isn't being applied throughout the community in all areas. And there are definitely members in the community that are dealing with particular issues.
I think I'm only going to take one more question, but then I just have a comment for the chair.
I tend to agree with Ms. Grandison. I have good experience with sanitation. I know everyone is kidding you, but I like to blame the residents for not moving their cars, because you can't blame sanitation. If they don't move their cars, how would sanitation is going to clean? I find my neighborhood is pretty decent because I stay on sanitation back. If I see garbage somewhere, I report it to Ms. Fraser. Ms. Fraser reach out to sanitation, and it gets resolved. That's all I want to say. Thank you.
Thank you for the comment. Again, with the sanitation committee, just like I've asked earlier, I need that email. If there are any areas in the community where you are not receiving those services, I need that email. Can't resolve a problem by you just saying that they're not cleaning or they're not picking up garbage and we don't know where. I know that one of the issues is the trucks, and we're going to address that. I just need a block. I know this part of it is on Kings Highway and Linden Boulevard, and we're going to address that. I'm going to see to that that's being addressed. There's what? And harassment. All right, not a problem. I can't take any more questions. That's it for sanitation. Oh, can you say your email address for people who might have questions and areas?
Yes, that.
And say it loud, please.
Sorry, 1 minute. That email is communityboard17, cb17sanitation@gmail.com.
Thank you very much. And again, any other questions, if you can't get a chair, send it to the district manager. Okay? Thank you. Let's move on to the next, social services. I did see Chair. Oh, there you go. All right. Followed by personnel.
Good evening. My name is Montserrat Oni. I'm Chair of the Social Services Committee. Social Services will be hosting our annual health fair next month, April 20th, outside of the district office. We will have several city agencies and nonprofits participating. We also have a local fitness studio, Pilar Boxing, that has offered to do a workout class for the community. We'll have some giveaways and some games for kids. So we'd really appreciate if you all would attend and encourage people that you know to attend. As we know from unfortunate events that have impacted our community, health is wealth, and we want to really work on sponsoring or fostering a culture of health in the community, which is why we have the representative from Pilar Boxing doing a workout class. And we want to just encourage people to care for themselves and also care for each other and our health. So would appreciate your attendance, and the flyer will be on the community board website. Thank you. That ends my report.
Can you repeat that? Can you repeat the time and date, location?
April 20th. On a Saturday. It starts at 11 p.m. It's from 11 to 4, and it will be outside of the district office.
Oh, thank you. Personnel? Followed by Postal Services Communication. Bylaws.
Good evening, everyone. On March 14th, we had a special meeting of the board. The 3 candidates were presented to the board. They presented themselves, questions were asked. And as a result, Ms. Noshin Farah was selected to the position of Assistant District Manager. It is my hope that depending on how fast the Borough President's office moves on the processing of the candidate's paperwork, Ms. Farah will begin her assignment as Assistant District Manager on March 25th. At this time, I want to thank everyone who was supported in the process in whatever form or fashion. And I'm here to serve, and that is my report. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Any questions? No questions in the personal chair. We have a new hire, no questions? That's nice. Postal Services, no report, thank you. Communications Chair.
Good evening, everyone. I'm just going to say that in the pursuit of our social media accounts, it continues to be an intractable issue. We still do not have access. The district manager has sent a cease and desist to the board member who is still holding on to the Facebook account, and that issue still has not been resolved. And so unfortunately, we still don't have social media. So that's my report.
Thank you very much. We noted that we did send a letter, right? We did send a letter with no response, am I correct? Okay. Communications bylaws, do you have any report? Followed by Brookdale Cab. Could you do also zoning and at the same time? Thank you.
Good evening. As required by the bylaws, last month, we presented several proposals to the board for consideration for voting on this evening. If we do have a quorum, we will vote on it. I will just say what they are.
Not
It's-
now, not now. You'll do that when you're doing the legislation.
Okay.
There is quorum, Madam Chair.
There is?
Yes, so.
Okay, I'm just going to mention what they are, so they will be thinking about them. The rotation of board officers, how long they should serve, with regard to creating an annual review process for the staff, as well as clarifying the secretary's duties, addressing the issue of the period of time where absences are considered, and I'll explain later. And then fourthly, there's a new item, we're not going to vote on it. I will just simply say, it says the officers of the community board shall consist of a chairperson, first vice chairperson, second vice chairperson, secretary and treasurer. Each officer shall perform such duties as are incidental to their office as enumerated and in accordance with the generally accepted rules of parliamentary procedure, to be nominated, run, serve, or appointed as an officer of the community board. The board members' domicile, the permanent legal residence must be within the boundaries of Community Board 17. So that becomes an action item for the next board meeting. With regard to zoning, I am delighted to say that we have presented a proposal to do community engagement. There were funds left over in the budget, so we're hoping to get approval for it so we can engage the community and get community input as to what they want this community to look like. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And those of you who did not get there's sheets that were handed out. So if you did not get them, Madam Chair. Madam Chair. JL, you didn't do rezoning. Did I report for rezoning or no? Oh, I didn't hear it. I just heard the bylaws. The report is here, right? For the two resolutions, amendments to the bylaws that we'll be voting on. All right, with that being said, we are going to agency report. Inspector Saliba, NYPD, 6th Precinct, Commanding Officer.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having us. It's great seeing you, Mr. Chair, And, just know that we're all praying for you and for good health. We also want to, on behalf of the 6-7, extend our condolences to Ms. Fields' family for the sudden passing. We usually outnumbered in these meetings, even in my community council meeting tomorrow night. The women usually outnumbered the men, so that is a testament to you all. And with that, I do want to wish you a happy Women's History Month, and thank you for all your contributions that you provide to not just the community, just to humanity. Period. We have a very, very good start to the year, 2024, when it comes to safety and when it comes to the 6-7 precinct. You've heard me probably speak on this many times. The violence part really takes up a lot of our energy, a lot of our resources. We finished last year very strong in that, and this year we started excellent in that. We had 2 shootings for the year. We had one on January 6th, and then we went 70 days, over 2 months, with no shootings in the 6-7 precinct, no shooting violence, and that's a great testament to the men and women of the precinct that are working hard, as well as our partners. That streak was interrupted over the weekend, last Saturday at around 4:30, where a young man was shot, unfortunately, and passed away over by Ditmas, 8-9 Ditmas. Great loss for that family. But just rest assured that we are looking to start that streak again. And if we could go those number of days with no violence, we can absolutely do it again. But of course, we can't do it alone. We need your assistance in that. That's not happening by accident. For the year, we have 51 gun arrests so far for the year. Again, that is the officers in the 6-7 precinct out every day, every night, working to keep you and your family safe. Mr. Chair, I think Sanitation Chair, you spoke about cars in the street. Absolutely an issue. We get complaints. Last year, we towed 387 cars off the street, and that is just within East Flatbush, within the 6-7 precinct. So far, this year, we towed 59 cars. We have operations. We set up operations with our partners with sanitation from time to time when we get these complaints. And unfortunately, what happens is as fast as we remove those cars off the street, people find new ones to replace them with. And I think it goes back to the second vice's point in terms of community members taking responsibility for those things. So we will continue to tow those cars as the complaints come in. I think our next operation with sanitation, I think, is April 11th. One, we have to find spaces to put those cars that we tow. Secondly, we have to get, obviously, tow trucks to be able to kind of help us out. So when we do these operations, we do them simultaneously hitting different spots as we get the complaints. So if you have any particular locations that you have, please give them to me as soon as you can so that we can try to put them on that list. And again, it's an ongoing issue. And you don't need me to tell you that. You see it for yourself. It's an ongoing issue, but we're going to continue to fight that fight along with our partners in sanitation. Our community council meeting is tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. 7 usually starts by 7:30 at the 6-7 precinct on the second floor. Please come. We encourage you to come. You'll get more details in terms of what goes on in the 6-7 precinct. It is your precinct. So you are more than welcome to join us tomorrow night. All right. Thank you.
Hello, I have a question. Officer, I have a question.
Wait, hold on, Ms. Lyons. 1 second. 1 second. Just put your hand up, and then once you're recognized by the chair, then you could ask the question. Thank you. I have a question first, and then what is a need that would help with the cars? I heard you mention tow trucks. So is it feasible that one of your officers can text me to find out how does a tow truck company get involved if they were interested to be involved. So if one of you or the officer can text me to find out how you can get more tow trucks involved with that component to move the cars. Chair Westcott, you had a question.
Yes, sir. I mean,
Please state your name, Mr. Westcott. I think the mic is off again. Here. Okay. No, you're gonna need yours.
Yeah, the name is Prescott, Kevin Prescott. Yeah, are you aware of the robbery that occurred Monday night on East 52nd Street and Avenue D? East 52nd and Avenue D. The reason why I asked, this afternoon, let's just happen at 5 o'clock, 2 officers came to my house and they rang the bell. They wanted to look at the camera. And I asked them what had happened. They said that someone was trying to buy some online and they're supposed to meet the person at 52nd Street and Avenue D. And when the person got there, 2 other guys jumped him and they ran down our block. So I wonder if you knew about it.
yes, I do know about it. And that is something that someone mentioned scamming the elderlies prior to that. And that is something that we see in this particular incident. It was an elderly, but my point is when you are engaging in these online purchases, to make sure that the meeting points, right? And listen, we all may have something to sell or want something to buy, but you want that meeting point to be at a location where you limit those type of opportunities, right? So please, if you do have cameras, if you have footage from your house, I encourage you to please share it with our guys. And I thank you very much, because that is the only way we are going to try to catch these guys, right? Because these social media purchases, sometimes they use fake accounts, sometimes they use spoof numbers for them to meet with these vulnerable victims. But especially with tax season coming, right, with scamming coming, those type of things, right? You may have some extra money in your pocket, depending on your tax situation. You may want to buy something, right? If a deal seems too good to be true, it is. If somebody's offering you a 2020 BMW X5 and they're asking you $9,000 for that BMW X5 and it's got 50,000 miles on it, do not go and meet that person. That is a deal too good to be true. Okay? Ask them to meet you in front of the precinct if that's the deal. And if you ask them to meet you in a public place and they refuse, walk away, please.
Something else, one more. This happened to me personally. This guy, my brother in church, he has I have his WhatsApp, and he sent me a message came through. Brother, could you let me have $550? I need it right away, okay? And I said to myself, this guy does not borrow money. I said to myself, getting to church now Sunday, the guy said no. And the other people received the same request, asking for money in the name of this particular guy. So is anything to be done about it?
So we'll have a conversation. Yeah, we'll have a conversation in the back to get a little bit more details on that.
All right, thank you.
Yes, sir.
I thank you. Detective, I did see Detective Skinner.
He's right here.
Well, where is
He's
he?
right next to me.
Oh, I just sent your text. All right. So if you have any further questions for the inspector, please meet them in the back, because we have to move on.
Excuse
yeah,
me,
Adrian,
Mr.
Adrian,
Davis.
I'm sorry.
Yes, okay, officer, good evening. This is a simple question. I live around the corner on Nostrand and Snyder from the precinct. I would like to know who my NCO officers are and their phone numbers.
Where do you live?
Nostrand and Snyder, right around the corner from the precinct.
Okay, Nostrand and Snyder. That's Detective Adam, but I don't want to give the numbers off like that because I don't have them in my head right now. But what I would ask you to do, can you in the chat, what's the best way to maybe
She
get
can
in
put in
contact with
I
her?
did, same thing I did at send.
Do
I'll
you,
send-
do you
send
have her
something.
number?
I have her number, yeah.
Okay.
I'll send.
Can I ask this? Can I ask the chair to share your number with us so I'll have that person
Yes,
contact?
I'm comfortable with that.
Okay,
Okay, thank you very much.
thank you.
All right, thank you, Ms. Lyons. Any other question? I did see, I hate doing it, but come on. Huh? I can't hear you.
Oh, someone have
Oh, there's
another
a
question?
hand up.
Yeah.
Oh, Mr. Fuller, go ahead. Thank you.
This is not about the precinct. I wanted to speak on the Parks Department with the Parks Chair.
Okay, so you're gonna hold on to that until we get to community affairs,
Okay.
okay? Okay, thank you. With that being said, you're good? All right, I hate doing it. All right, thank you. Any questions for for inspector? Please see him in the back. Sanitation, DSNY? And while you're up here, if you can address some of the concerns that they mentioned earlier, and also connect with Chair Hill as well.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Jason Chen. I'm with the Sanitation Department. Thank you for having me here tonight. So I heard from the sanitation chairperson mentioned about the sanitation services to the community board. I just want to clarify that sanitation service is delivered to all the 5 borough 59 districts of citywide. It's an equal amount of service. So residential jobs are getting picked up twice a week or 3 times a week, depends on the neighborhood, and the population of each neighborhood is different. So, and also we having the street cleaning service twice. Some neighborhood has a twice a week. Some neighborhood has a once a week on each of those blocks. So, as someone mentioned that when somebody else park a car on that particular block, and when there's the ASB services, street cleaning service taking in effect, and your car's not moving, so that spot is going to be skipped when our broom go down to the block. Who's going to be responsible to clean up that spot? It's the homeowner. So sanitation is not just agency to and nobody else can rely on just one agency to get a service done. That we have to work together. You as a residents, community members, and work closely to each other with us and help to keep a community clean. So I want to be clarify that, I know it's going to be tough. Some neighborhood do not really care about their neighbors, the surrounding of their house. So, but keep in mind, we can work together, make our community better, and for everyone to live and also to work. So here, tonight, I'm going to have an announcement for how we better handle the commercial waste. We've been working, in the past 10 years, starting survey and all the kind of activity to get up to now. We have a final result how to better handle the commercial waste in our 5 borough. So starting, it's also the part of the sanitation commitment with the mayor's office, that how we can keep our neighbor clean. We want to reduce the amount of the black bags riding out of the streets. So we have been implementing a sequence of new rules since last year. So we're starting from changing our setting time for commercial waste putting out for collection in April 2023. And in the following, in August 2023, that we ask all food-related business set their garbage out in a container with a secure lid. And the following month of September, we asking all the chain store businesses in the New York City 5 borough with 5 or more locations are required to set their garbage out, the food-related garbage out in a container with a secure lid. And following in this year, we just started March 1st, 2023, we are implementing up to all the businesses in citywide, regardless of the type of the business doing or product they're selling or the service they're providing to the customers. They are required to set their garbage out in a container with the lid. All the type of business, regardless of the size of the business. So that's why we have to do that, because we have to help ourselves, we have to help the community, we have to help the New York City. We want to provide a better environment for all of us, not just particular person or particular neighborhood. So that's why we have those, a sequence of improvements rules set for all the business in New York City here. This new rule is going to be a little bit tough, but we say we have our enforcement out there already. Monitor the area and visit the business and seeing if any of those, if there's anyone not in compliance with this new rule. We have been doing, sending out the email to all the community board elected officials. We have been visiting the community boards like I'm doing here right now to give announcement to let the people know, let the business know that this new rule is going to be taking in effect. And this month, the first day of this month, March 1st, 2024. And we also send out a mailer of this official notification to all the business. I'm sure at this point, all the businesses already have received this notice. You can grab a copy on the back of the table when you're on the way out.
You have about 30 seconds.
Sorry?
You have about 30 seconds.
Okay. So this new rule has it's going to be taking effect on April 1st. So starting April 1st, our enforcement going around to inspect the issue actual summon instead of warning. So we hopefully this information can help the business in comply with these new rules. Thank you. If you have any question, you can always go to our website, email to sanitation.
Okay.
I have one quick.
So we have two, I see it. Hold on. I see there are 5 questions. That's all we're taking. Others will meet with him in the back. So if you get, Chair Westcott, can you go to that mic for me? Chair Hill, go to this mic. Secretary Thomas, can you go to this mic behind Chair Westcott for me, please?
Yeah.
All right. And then I have a question after everybody else, and after that, everybody else can please go to the back. Chair James.
Good evening. You mentioned, of course, that
State your
homeowners.
name, Chair James.
Chair James, you mentioned earlier that homeowners are responsible for cleaning the streets when a car has not been moved. My question to you is, why doesn't sanitation, given its limited resources, focus on ticketing cars that do not move instead of focusing on cars or including cars that have moved? So in the instance of Mr. Westcott here, where he's moved his car already, the street has been